I want to talk about why I stopped the bulk at 6 months. Now, here's the thing. The thing is that it started to get really difficult on me on a mental standpoint because, I kind of made the mistake that I made before, which was, putting on weight at a high rate. So, like, at first, I was putting on weight at like, half a pound, 3/4 per week. But then I started to go like really fast, especially because holidays were like back to back. First, it was like Thanksgiving, then it became Christmas, and then it became, New Year's, and then I had vacation throughout in January. It was like a week long in another state. And then, February is also my birthday too. And the thing was is that by the time I landed on January, or by the time I even ended in January in the very beginning of February, I weighed in at about like 170 to 171 pounds. And the thing was is that was a big deal because in December I was just, 155 pounds. And then by January, I was 165 pounds. And then now, weighing in the beginning of February, I ended up being, 170 to 171. So after, 6 months hits, which, this month is the 6 month mark, I decided to just, 6 months was enough. And I decided to just, start the cut. And the reason why I wanted to start the cut was the first reason is that like my clothes started to fit very tightly. And clothes that I would normally get, like pants that are like 32 inches on the waist but 30 on the legs, it started to feel very what's the word? It started to feel very like compressed, and started to feel tight, and it just wasn't fitting the same way. And like, if you're like thinking about it logically, you'd probably be thinking, Julian, you would have expected this already. It's to be expected. But like my intentions in general was not to get, very fat, not to get very like, out of hand when it comes to my weight. And not only because, I have to cut the weight down, but because, I honestly don't want to go through clothes like there's no tomorrow. I don't want to spend, extra money that I don't need to spend. And honestly, I just found it, a waste of, a waste of time, a waste of energy to just, eat whatever and, get up to, 180 pounds, 185, which, it would have been really good if, let's say, I was going to do it for a year. But, the reality is that I learned something, and I learned something interesting, which is that, after the 6 month mark, it just becomes very hard for me. Not on a physical standpoint, but it was just all mostly mental. Maybe I could have put on a couple more pounds of muscle, but I decided just to cut already. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. But, since you're already in the video right now, I could talk about what I'm doing now. As of now, I'm starting to cut, and the way I'm doing it is that, I'm just doing a bunch of cardio. I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just doing incline walking for like 15 to 30 minutes. It honestly depends on the day and how I'm feeling and how much time I have on my hands. And when it comes to working out, I work out around 4 to 5 times a week. Usually it's 5 times a week, and it's the same schedule that I always say. But the reality is that sometimes, I have to pay extra attention to school, or I have, extra responsibilities that are beyond my control, to where, I can't work out on a certain day. But in general, I try to work out 4 to 5 times a week. And, what I can also say is that my protein is like about 160 grams a day. And I find that to be good because the weight that I want to be, when I'm fully cut down, when I'm fully lean, is about 155 pounds. If I can get anywhere lean from 155 pounds and up, I'll be very happy. And the reason why I shoot for 155 pounds and above is because the most I've weighed while being lean was, in 2023, which was about like 151 to 150 pounds. So 150 to 151. So I'll just say 151 pounds in 2023. And the most I've weighed while being lean last summer is 148 pounds. So, assuming that, my body, remembers a little bit of the muscle I had when it was like 2023, I believe that the 6 months that I've been bulking, that I can get to, 155 pounds. Because in 6 months, and assuming that I put on like, a pound a month, which is, 6 pounds in total, and assume that, I don't keep all of it. So assume that, I only keep like 4 pounds of muscle from the 6 months. And yeah, 151, you add 4 pounds of muscle, and that would lead you to 155 pounds. Which, honestly, 155 pounds of muscle is really not bad at all. Like, if you really think about it and you really put things in perspective, like, this guy is 5'8". This guy looked fairly muscular, had big arms to begin with, even at 146, 148. And imagine me, I had 155 pounds. I just think that it's going to be a noticeable, difference in like how I look. And I hope that, you guys get to see it for yourselves. The amount of strength that I put on, which, by the way, I'm the strongest as of right now that I've ever been, to be honest with you guys. And as of right now, the strength is pretty much the same. There's no downward trend when it comes to my strength. I can still press the hundreds for like 1 or 2 reps. I haven't really, beaten my record yet, but hopefully I get to beat it soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Like, strength hasn't been going down, and I honestly hope that that it just continues to be that way. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys in this video. If you guys probably noticed that this video is a little bit different, because this video is not really like edited at all, and it's gonna, obviously I'm gonna put certain essential clips that's needed throughout the video. But the reality is that I just want to start learning how to edit my own videos. And in order for me to learn how to edit my own videos, I got to start from square one. And also the main reason is because I want to be able to post often. And if I don't know how to edit my own videos and I source it somewhere else, it can get very costly, especially for someone that's not really, getting income from this to begin with. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe. And if you guys have any comments or anything you want to say, or extra feedback, suggestions, whatever, I'll try my best to answer as much comments as I can, which most of the time I do, unless I have no response for the comments. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and have a wonderful day.